Okay, so I feel like I've been talking about Mozzie a lot on this channel, but since he's picked so much, I feel like I could probably get away with making this video. And so, an aspect that is not really brought up about Mozzie very often is the potential that he has as a roamer and a lurker. People do often use Mozzie as a roamer or a lurker, but they don't really utilize his ability in doing so. They more so use his ability as putting out 3 pests in the prep phase and then going on a roam. I am the Senator, and today I'm going to show you why Mozzie is such a great roamer, and how you can use his utility effectively to help you on your roam. But before I get too deep into the video, remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified every time I post a video. So, what makes Mozzie a great roamer? Well, like most of these videos that I do, I'm going to start off with his kit. And in my last video on Mozzie, I discussed his kit, so I really won't go too deep into that. But the option that he has for his primaries allow him to roam effectively across all skill levels. So if you're a skilled player who is great when it comes to aiming and your mechanical skills overall, the P10 Roni may be the best defender weapon for you as a roamer. It does have a small magazine, but makes up for it in how easy it is to control and its ridiculous rate of fire. So if you don't really have a problem with aiming and your mechanical skills are on point, you can just absolutely shred with Roni, and if you're at that level, you probably already know this. Now, if your mechanical skills aren't where you want them to be, his commando can also be a great option for roamers as well. While the rate of fire isn't the highest, his commando is very hard hitting and very easy to control. Not to mention the mag change animation is the coolest in the game, and you can have a pizza skin on it. And what makes this kit great for roamers is that it's very, very versatile. And it's not going to be as versatile once they take away his super shorty, but with most operators, you get a choice between an SMG and a shotgun. But there are many cases out there where both options may not be the best for you, your playstyle, and your skill level. Whereas with Mozzie, both primary options can cater to 2 different skill levels as well as different playstyles. However, his kit isn't what makes him great when it comes to roaming. It is a great factor, however, you should never be sold on a roamer or any other operator for that matter based on their kit alone. Yes, sometimes the weapons they do have can come into play and can affect, whether or not you pick them. But overall, you want an operator that can be useful on a roam, or doesn't have to be roamers, it can be anchors, whatever, who's useful at what they're doing and can provide utility to the team. So let's just take a quick look at the options that you have as a roamer. And the most popular roamers are Jaeger, Vigil, Cav, Alibi, Ella, Oryx, sometimes a Valkyrie, and I probably missed a couple, but when I think roamer, those are the options that come to my mind. And so out of all those roaming options that I just listed, the only roamers in my experience that will have a significant impact on the round will be a Jaeger and a Valk. And of course there are instances where a Cav can get an Intero or Oryx is able to pull off a great flank with his ability. But in general, Jaeger and Valk are the ones that stand out and you're guaranteed to get some utility out of them. And with Valk being a 2-speed and Jaeger about to become one, that may change. And so even though Valk is a 2-speed, I put her in that list because most of the time I do see people roam with her, and her MPX is great for roamers because it fires a lot of rounds downrange in a very short amount of time. And so Mozzie's also a 2-speed that is great for roaming because both his kit allows it and his utility can actually provide benefits to him on his roam as well as benefit the entire team. So, in my previous Mozzie video, I showed you the best way to use Mozzie and get the most utility out of him as possible. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go watch it. But if you don't, that's fine. I understand you don't have a lot of time to go do this. I'll give you a short rundown of what I discussed in that video. So, the way I see most people play Mozzie is that at the beginning of the round, they'll put out all of their pests as soon as possible in the prep phase in order to capture as many drones as they can. And it's very understandable as to why someone would want to do that. You want to get their drones before your teammates can shoot them. However, that is not the most effective way to use Mozzie, and that's not an effective way to just use his ability. And you're thinking about his ability the wrong way. I went on to talk about how Mozzie should be used more as an intel denier rather than an intel gatherer. You should be focused more on getting rid of the drones than actually capturing the drones for yourself. And so I use the example of if you get a pest on 3 drones in the prep phase, then the attackers have 7 drones left. Whereas if you actually just shoot those drones with your super shorty at the beginning and you capture 3 drones later on, they're only left with 4 drones. I feel like with the amount of information utility that defenders already have, Mozzie is best suited as an intel denier rather than an intel gatherer. And so the gist of that entire video was that Mozzie should be used primarily as a way to deny information on attackers droning without you being there. It's more of a set it and forget it intel denier rather than an op designed to gather intel on attackers. And don't think that I'm saying that you shouldn't be using the drones that you capture for your own benefit. Of course, you should do that when there's an option to do that. You get the drone, put it on a hallway to watch or whatever. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but I'm saying that your primary goal as a Mozzie player is to just get rid of their drones. Because the attackers already have a limited amount of information tools at their disposal, so you want to get rid of those as quickly as possible, whereas the defenders have a lot of information tools at their disposal, whether it be through bulletproof cams, the default cams, as well as a multitude of operators who actually have the ability to gather information, such as a Maestro or a Valk. So, how does this make him a great roamer? Well, in my experience, the biggest downfall of roaming is the lack of the ability to deny information as to where you are while you are roaming. And I know what you're thinking. Visual does exactly that. And yes and no. Visual can do that, but if you're droning out and you see the white lines going across your screen, you know that there's a visual and you have to worry about that. Visual will never catch you by surprise unless you're just really, really bad at droning. If a visual is nearby, you will know. Whereas Mozzie is able to deny you information as to where you're roaming without letting the attackers know exactly where you are. And so I'm going to hop into a custom and show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can roam and lurk effectively with Mozzie on Villa, and more specifically when you're defending Aviator and Games Room. So typically whenever you're defending on Aviator and Games on Villa, what you can usually expect is for there to be a push from this north side of the map on the top floor. They're going to try to get control of Closet, get control of Master and Bedroom, and then move into Astro, then, to Trophy, and then eventually try to get 90. That's usually how the attack goes. And they'll bring a Nomad, try to Nomad the stairs. All that good jazz, you can usually expect it. And so you could play a Vigil to, stop them and try to deny them information. But they're going to see a Vigil. They're going to drone in, and they're going to see the white lines and know, hey, there's probably a Vigil here in Bedroom or in Bathroom, so there's a Vigil nearby. Let's be wary of that. However, what makes Mozzie so great is pre-placed pest drones will be able to deny them information, and they'll have no idea whether or not you're in there hiding in the bathtub or whether or not you're on site behind the bar. They'll have no idea whatsoever. So say, for instance, you're going to lurk and roam up here in this bathroom or an Astro, that kind of area. You could take your pests and put them on that drone hole. You could put one over here in Statue, or you could put one over here in Astronomy bathroom doorway. Now, I do not recommend that you use all three of your pests to protect you on this one roam or this one lurk. Whatever it is, it's more of a lurk, but we're going with it. And the reason you don't use all three of them is because you still want to protect the site when it comes to late in the round, whenever there's 45 seconds left and they're trying to drone your defenders out. But these pests should be used as a way to, prevent you from being found out. So if you can get the attacker to waste their drone on a pest, they'll be coming in blind. And what really makes the difference between, Mozzie and Vigil when it comes to coming in blind is they're going to know there's a Vigil nearby. But they'll have no idea whether or not there's a Mozzie nearby. They'll have no idea whether or not there's anybody on this side of the map. And so you'll have a huge advantage in that sense, since you know that they're droning out. They're probably out on this balcony, outside this window, outside Bedroom, and they're getting ready to make a push, but they have no idea whether or not there's anyone here. And so automatically it's in your favor. As a roamer, you're in the positive here. And as Get Flanked just posted a video about this, about how there's an information economy. And you just went positive on that information economy because you have an idea of where they're at, but they have no idea where you're at because, one, you just took away one of their, if not their only utility in finding roamers and finding anyone, and they have no idea if you're still there. They have no idea whether or not you're playing in there. They have no idea whether you're on site. They have no idea whether you're in kitchen or whatever. They're just going in blind. And so that's what makes Mozzie such a great roamer. Because most of the time when it comes to roamers, they'll fail whenever they get droned out. Because once they're droned out, roamers will typically be by themselves, and two attackers will be able to get together and snuff them out. However, if you just deny that information, you automatically have the upper hand. So hopefully I was able to give you an idea on how you can use Mozzie effectively for roaming. And what I just showed you doesn't only apply for you when you're roaming as Mozzie. If roaming is a playstyle that you're not too crazy about and you don't do that often and you're more comfortable playing as an anchor, Mozzie also works great as an anchor, and you can still use your ability to help your roamers. So if you decide to play Mozzie and you don't want to take on the role of a roamer or a lurker, and you more just want to play as an anchor, you should be talking with your roamers and try to find out which areas of the map they're going to try to defend so that you can put out your pests in those areas in order to deny the attackers from joining out your roamers. So remember, when you're playing Mozzie, you need to use his pests as a way to deny information and get rid of drones when you're not actively looking for drones the same way that you'd be looking for them in the prep phase. And coordinating with your roamers or roaming for yourself can make Mozzie even more powerful. So many players will just put out their pests as soon as the prep phase starts, not thinking about why Mozzie exists. Yes, you can gather information with Mozzie, but overall, he's better designed as an information denier. So don't limit yourself to denying information only on site. Your roamers will love you for it. And so that's about it. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified every time I post a video. And so that about does it. I am the Senator, and as always, have a good one.